When it comes to some of these firings that we've seen at federal agencies in an effort to get rid of the bureaucrats, people who've been there forever and aren't actually necessary, there's been some concern specifically at the Federal Aviation Administration. You know, Karoline, we cover, unfortunately, a number of plane crashes, and it's not like it hasn't happened in previous administrations, but the frequency that we've seen, and of course, when everyone's got a camera on their phone, they can record it, and you just have this concern potentially about flying and landing safely. Can the Trump administration ensure that despite these firings that we're seeing at the FAA, people will be safe when flying?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a very important question, and it's an important issue that this administration is taking very seriously. Secretary Duffy has been incredibly transparent about the FAA and the Department of Transportation's efforts to increase aviation safety in this country. And I want to correct the record because not a single air traffic controller has lost their job. In fact, FAA is actively hiring new air traffic controllers to join that growing field, and we are hiring those individuals based on merit and skill, not based on their skin color or their sexual preference like the previous administration was prioritizing. And so Secretary Duffy is wholeheartedly committed to hiring the best and brightest at the FAA, but he's also focused on updating the archaic systems that run our aviation industry in this country and that air traffic controllers have been forced to use. It's time for the United States government to have the best and most efficient technology, and that's something Secretary Duffy and the Department of Transportation is working very hard on. And I couldn't think of a more important industry to do that, like the aviation industry, which is responsible for millions of lives every single day when Americans are flying across our country. So again, this is an issue the administration is taking seriously, unlike the previous administration where Secretary Buttigieg sat on his hands and did nothing to improve aviation safety in the last 4 years.
I'd like to pivot to Ukraine if I can with you, Karoline. The president has been taking Ukraine to task this week, including an instance where he appeared to suggest Zelensky is not upholding democracy in Ukraine. We have that soundbite if you could take a listen.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast.
So it does appear, as when you monitor the president's rhetoric towards President Zelensky, that there is somewhat of a shift, more pressure towards Zelensky. So my question is, how is he feeling about President Zelensky in this moment, moving forward to end this war with Russia? And also, who does the president believe started this war with Russia and Ukraine?
Well, everything I just heard President Trump say in that soundbite is the truth. Ukraine has not held elections in the past few years. Zelensky did implement martial law on the Ukrainian people. Those are facts, and the president has increased this pressure campaign because why? He wants to make a deal for peace. He wants to stop the killing in this war. It has been going on for years, and the American taxpayers have been funding this war. If it were not for the American taxpayer, Zelensky wouldn't have a country anymore. And so the president is frustrated with Zelensky's comments this past week and his lack of acknowledgement of the support that the American taxpayer has given to this effort. With that said, the president and this administration are incredibly committed, wholeheartedly committed to securing a deal. That's why the president has had direct dialogue with both Zelensky numerous times since he won the election on November 5th, and he's also spoken directly to Putin. You have to talk to both sides in order to come up with a solution. President Trump believes in dialogue and tough diplomacy, and we saw it work in his first term. He was the president, don't forget, that Putin did not invade Ukraine or anywhere under President Trump, although he did under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, and he did again under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So President Trump knows what he's doing. The American people trust him to end this war, and that's why they reelected him on November 5th.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.